Sorry, 1 second.
Take your time.
Nope, that's wrong. No, that was right. Okay. Whenever you're ready. Oh.
Sorry.
Stephan.
Sorry. I just make sure I was on the right side.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Project.
What the hell?
Okay, hold on.
What the hell?
I don't know. I made
What
a
the
mistake.
hell?
I made a mistake.
What'd you make a mistake on?
I reused the wrong first sentence.
Okay.
Okay.
Breathe. Don't do that. Have you started recording?
Yeah, I did. I was born to fight. Now, I don't mean that as some sort of clever metaphor about my ambitions. I mean, I literally came out of my mother throwing punches. I was fighting for my life against my umbilical cord, who at the time I thought was my friend. But as he was choking me, turning me deeper and darker shades of blue, I realized that my roommate wanted me dead. Because he knew that I was going out of that prison. I was going places. And he was going in a dumpster somewhere. My first breath of fresh air was my first act of defiance. Which is why when I was 3, I was finally old enough to have my very own mortal enemy. His name was Al, the Prince of Darkness. Projection is a defense mechanism that involves taking our own unacceptable qualities or feelings and ascribing them to other people. For example, if we have a strong dislike for someone, we might instead believe that he or she doesn't like us. A projection allows the desire or impulse to be expressed, but in a way that the ego doesn't recognize, therefore reducing anxiety. Internationally renowned leadership speaker and trainer Tim Conner explains, when we project, we fail to bring the learning, introspection and evaluation for our need for growth back to ourselves. Therefore, we often sabotage our learning and growth about how to find peace and happiness. Peter Berube is confronted with this phenomenon in The Prince of Darkness by Peter Berube. After my parents were divorced when I was 2, my mom worked hard every night and every day to make sure that her boy would have the life she never had. We would have sliced cantaloupe every night, and we would watch movies which at the time you could only get from a movie store. And even though I was young and I don't fully remember what it was like, my heart still tells me that these were the happiest moments of my youth. My mother was my hero, and I was free. I was free to pedal wherever my big wheels would take me. Then, one night, this Prince of Darkness, who'd been coming around for a few years, now came with us to return a movie to the sacred movie store. My mother went inside, and the prince from the front seat looks over to me and says, "Your mother and I are getting married." Now, in my mind, I retaliated with something very clever, but it was more likely I just cried. I was really big into crying at the time. That was the end of the fight. My life was over like that. They got married and we moved away, and my freedom was replaced by an endless list of new rules and punishments. Now, they promised I could still be happy as long as I gave my absolute obedience. Now, for all you rebels out there who are like me, you know when you hear those words, a fire ignites within you, and there's only one proper response to their offer. There is no fucking way that is going to happen. On top of his new house rules, food rules, shower rules, outside rules, table manners, bed making, language etiquette, I had to do schoolwork year round. I did book reports during my summer vacation, and instead of TV, I had to watch educational videos like where there's a will, there's an A, and I only did that on the weekends. And during our family nights, we played the Capitals game, which is about as much fun as it sounds. It's just naming the state capitals. Newsflash, that's not a fucking game, so I refused. And I can proudly say that I know practically none of the state capitals to this day. With every new rule And every new punishment, I put my foot down and declared my independence from this family. When it came to educational family games, I said that I would rather be punished than participate. The prince would try to break my spirit by spanking me with a belt, but I would simply bite down on the collar of my shirt, not giving him the satisfaction of a response. He took away my TV privileges, so I snuck out of the house. I went down the street to a tag sale. I bought my own TV. This battle of wits went on for a decade. But as I got older, I got smarter. I was naturally manipulative. My anger turned into this malicious talent for mind games. You see, I didn't want to just get away with not being punished. I wanted him gone. I wanted to win, and he helped me do it. The prince was this amazing master of logic and debate. He wasn't the kind of parent that would just look over to you and say, because I said so. He would let me defend myself. I would try to lie. I would try to manipulate, but he would always take me down. He would twist my words, and he would set traps, and he would back me into corners. Almost every night, we fought about something. But every debate, I got better and better. I sharpened my silver tongue. I learned his tricks, and I dodged his pitfalls. I started to see how every word must be specifically chosen if you are ever going to forge the infinite shades of truth into an unbeatable weapon. Just when I thought I had him against the ropes, he would strike a knockout blow. I couldn't even last 3 rounds with him. And then I started lasting 5, and then 10. And pretty soon, he couldn't even knock me out. Finally, when I was 17, I would get my years of revenge. I was woken up one morning by the sounds and my mother and the prince arguing, which was very odd for them. Now, she and I don't argue like he and I do. Her power was in her silence, not her words. He was hurting her, and she was no match for him. From the basement, I wanted to scream. She kept on taking hit after hit after hit as he just dominated the argument. That's when I lost control. I ascended the stairs, fired up and hungry for blood. I came out of nowhere and entered the ring swinging. He was so shocked by my initial onslaught that he started fumbling his phrasing, losing his thoughts. And as he stumbled, I struck with everything I had. He tried to make one last desperate attempt to end the fight by calling a truce. But that just fueled me to attack deeper. I was a rabid dog. My tongue was sharp. I lashed out relentlessly, striking without an ounce of humanity at his greatest fears as a father, as a husband, as a man. 10 years of anger spewed out in a flurry of hateful attacks. I stabbed as deeply and as violently as I could without any hesitation and with no means of stopping this flood of brutality. And then it was over. I won. He then ran out of the kitchen where he suddenly just goes into the bathroom and he then shriveled to a ball and started crying. I'd never seen a man cry before. Never so hard. Never so deeply. I knocked him off the mountain, and there I stood, taller than ever, hovering over his corpse. And then I snapped out of it. The anger flooded from my system and left me. The real me standing there. I looked over at my marvelous talent. My gift. My years of training culminating into one beautiful act of pure destruction. And then everything from the past decade made sense. I was the monster. He was the hero in the story. There was no way for me to repair the damage. Words are weapons that leave no wounds that you can close. I promised myself that I would never cross that line not with anyone. It's kind of funny that the man that I now know, the man that turns into an emotional mush monkey spewing I love yous to me, used to be my mortal enemy. He's still the man, and I'm still the rebel. But now that I'm older and I've had my own relationships, I now know the missing part of the story that always shines a light into the darkness. He didn't come into my life to strip me of my happy world and chain me to obedience. He came into my world because he loves my mother. He stayed and fought against a monster for 20 years who wanted nothing more than to destroy his relationship. Not only that, he gave his greatest enemy unconditional love. He's the only man that I know in real life who loves his wife with all the whimsical cliches you would see from the movies, from the movie store. My mother found her prince, and as a son, you could only pray to be so lucky.
19.
Wait, 1019?
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Okay.
20 over. Yeah.